What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Season Gaming Bitcast, episode 357. It is another fine Sunday loaded with video games to talk about, and the crew is back together, ready to talk about them. The lawman himself, we missed him last week, but he's back. He's ready to talk games. We got a lot of games to talk about. Hogue, how we doing, my friend?
I'm good. I'm good today. And like I apologized to both of you before the show, I want to apologize to everybody that was looking forward to seeing me. I question your judgment on that, but I am very sorry that I canceled really 2 seconds before showtime last week. Not any health concerns. You don't have to worry about me in a hospital or anything like that. But if you were watching my Twitter this week, you did see that I announced that I'm joining a new firm. That's been part of the stress points workload that I've been dealing with the last couple weeks. And ultimately, it came to a head about 5 minutes before showtime, and Ains has been awesome about it, and Travis has been less so, but he's Travis, and letting me off the hook last week. So I'm very happy to be here with you all, talking video games and not serious stuff, and having a good time. Happy Sunday.
Never forget. Never forget that time Hogue made me hang out with Joe. That was not okay.
And the Tie Guy is here, of course. Busy workload review season, I know. So I think you get to talk about one today. There's others you can't talk about still, but how are you doing? You getting some sleep?
I'm good.
3 hours a night?
No, it's an exciting time of the year. I'm busy on multiple fronts and pumping out reviews, and yeah, it's a good time.
Okay.
It's good.
Cool.
The games are crazy this year, gentlemen. I was thinking about this earlier this week, that I think I could do like 5 nominees for Game of the Year from the first half of the year and the second half of the year. Like I feel like I could easily make a nomination list of games you'd say, yeah, that deserves to be there for January to June and July to December.
Yeah. You haven't even played Baby Steps.
I haven't played Baby Steps. Good point.
Actual Game of the Year.
It's I was talking with some friends yesterday. It's like we were talking about other games that came out. I was like, oh my God, that did come out this year. It's one of those where like you're just forgetting all of the games that released this year. Yeah, it's crazy. But anyway, today we're going to be talking about a lot of games because there weren't any really huge topics this week we wanted to talk about. We are going to touch on some of the Xbox stuff with Hogue since he wasn't here last week. But otherwise, we got to talk about Battlefield, of course. Huge release this week. We're going to touch on Ghost again. I want to talk a little bit about a game called Absolum you should not miss.
That's a Hogue note. You got it, Ains.
Yeah, we got Little Nightmares, Final Fantasy Tactics. We got Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 re-releasing, and we got others to talk about as well. So we're going to get into it, of course. Should be a good time. Thanks to everyone jumping in early with us this morning. Let's kick it off with our usual kind of check-in with the community. So, Travis, we got a couple things to call out of the gate here. Bear with me. Big shout-out, as always, before we even got rolling. Legend Willow, give 5 season giving memberships. Willow, Legend, as always, thank you very much for that. Getting us started. Travis got one. He did. But... it's always kind of funny, but I hope you're doing well, Willow. Thank you, as always.
There's no way to like pull myself out of the pool, out of the running.
Yes, you can opt out of getting gifts.
You have to do it at the account level. Google's. It's in Google's menus. If you go through about 932 menus that are confusing, you'll eventually get there.
Oh, yeah, cool. They added that because people were getting like gift subs to streamers that they didn't like want to be associated with, but were lurking in apparently, and like there's a whole thing.
Yeah, I don't even really know how it works because I wasn't in the YouTube when it happened. Like it was, you know what I mean? Like
I wasn't like in the comments. You probably have mod rights here. Like that might count as part of the pool.
List.
Yeah.
D487 member for 5 months. He shakes the cage door and says, "Let us in." Cage door? That's a different version of it.
How do you know it's a he?
I don't know.
I thought it was your wife when you first read it.
No, D would never have that many E's. She would have far more E's.
Okay.
That's too few. Yeah.
Oh, man. Let us in. Yeah, sorry. We were hanging out.
Not a fence. Prior to the show. Not a fence like the original meme. It's a cage, which I'm interested in. Are they inside the cage? Are they trying to shake to get something that's inside the cage out of it? I'm just confused.
Well, if they just wanted to see the show, obviously we're in the cage.
That's where
maybe they want to be in the cage, or they, yeah. I don't know. I'm confused.
It seems odd.
Yeah.
I'm with you. All right, we'll figure it out as we go here.
I was right, by the way. D's a he. I don't know. I can tell the he D's. I have 2 D's in my life. I've got my wife D, and then I've also my barber's name is D, and he's
okay. I'm glad you went that direction. I didn't want to hear any more about your D's, Travis.
D's nuts.
Machine XP is here.
Machine XP, $5 super chat. I got my answers in the Discord, but not from Travis. No. Fries dipped into Frosties, yes or no? The fate of the world depends on the answer. My answer is generally no to that question, but I will admit I've never tried it because I'm not a psychopath. I think fries are good. I think Frosties are good. I've never felt the inclination to mix them together.
Push your hands together.
Yeah, I got to tell you on this. I was in the Discord. Marriage. I've been surprised by all the pushback here. You get a chocolate Frosty from Wendy's. The fries go in the Frosty. The Frosty was made for French fries. It is a delectable treat that fast food gives you. You should put your French fries in your chocolate Frosty from Wendy's. Highly recommended. Wendy's, you can send some referral bucks over to my account at your discretion.
I'm good, actually. I'm fine.
You're great. We love you, Travis, but your life would be enhanced by fries and Frosties.
No, we won't. Promise you.
Okay. All right.
If you enjoy your health, don't do it. But generally speaking, it's fantastic.
Yeah, that's a crazy thing to do.
It is not. It is glorious. Yeah.
Why do you need to put some salt inside of your shake? Is my confusion.
Salt and chocolate are two great tastes that taste great together.
No, they're not in cahoots. They're mortal enemies, the salt and the sugar.
You never put a little salt on your hot chocolate?
No. What?
How about your chocolate milk?
By the way, Machine.
First of all, I'm not drinking a whole lot of this. I'm not 8 years old, but I would not put salt on top of it. No.
By the way, Machine says he's just disappointed.
That's fine. You could be disappointed. I'm pretty boring when it comes to food. Pretty boring.
Machine, thank you as always. Gregor's is here from Poland.
Gregor's Watroba comes back with his Polish zloty, 25 of them this time. He slams them down on the table and says, "I'll take one super chat, please." And in that super chat, he writes, "Hello from the rainy Poland. Have you played Chronos? What platform? Did you like it? Currently implementing questing system in my cozy game."
Nice. I told you to keep us updated on that, Gregor's, because we'll talk about it when you're ready. I have played Chronos. I started it after I finished Silent Hill F. I'm playing it on PS5 Pro, and I don't have a lot of time in it because Battlefield released this week, which we're going to talk about. But I did start it. I really, really like it so far. It's definitely given off the sci-fi Dead Space vibes. It plays very smooth. It's very well optimized. So, yeah, I'm enjoying it a lot. I do want to put more time into it soon. So.
Yeah, I wish I had the time to play it. I'm still in Silent Hill F land for my horror game, but for whatever reason this October, I haven't had my usual desire to jump into horror games and horror stuff like I do this month usually. So Chronos might be the big loser there.
How fitting that none of us have time for a game called Chronos.
Well, I'm busy trying to slay Chronos in a different game this fall.
Also a great game.
Chronos is just popping off. He was in Mortal Kombat a little while ago. We got a lot of Chronos out here.
You could say he said, "This is my time."
That's right. Look at me. Look at me.
Gregors, hope you're doing well. Thank you for the super chat. All right. And of course, we have a Tides picks to get to this week, which sends us to the battlefield. Let's see. I didn't even take a good look at these this week.
I look like I've seen some stuff.
Yeah, Ains looks very tired.
I do. I look, which is appropriate because that's how I look right now.
I look like the first NPC you talk to in a Fallout game who definitely dies during the tutorial.
100%.
Like maybe moments after you talk to him. He's like, "Hey,
I feel like
through here," and then he explodes or something.
I feel like you're the guy in the tutorial that's giving out the pistols and the grenades and telling you how to shoot targets.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm gonna die during that tutorial. There's no way I'm making it through.
I like that you have the goggles over your glasses like that. Like, how's that working out for you?
Well, they're not on my glasses, nor could they fit over them. So I'm guessing they're purely a stylistic choice. It's like I can't remember who pointed this out, but I once saw a video about how everybody in Star Wars has goggles on their heads, but they never wear them. Like, just goggles are never used in all of Star Wars. They're just on people's heads. So, you know, it's a fashion.
Add a little visual signature. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Like it, Ty. Thank you very much, as always. All right. Well, boys, let's let's go ahead and get into it. So I'll state Battlefield for a minute. Hogue, before we get into other things, I want to check in with you on Ghost, because I'm assuming Travis and I still haven't played Ghost. I was holding off. Travis is busy reviewing other games right now. You weren't here last week. My timeline, well, not now that Battlefield released, but prior to, is a lot of praising Ghost of Yotei and how beautiful it is and how well done it is and how big of a step up from Tsushima, at least in aspects, is. Are you feeling this way? How far into it are you?
Yes, I am. I don't know how to frame it. I think I would say 40%. I've gotten through some stuff, but
Okay.
not the bulk of the stuff. I really loved Tsushima. It was my game of the year it came out. Yotei is a stronger, more focused, more organic, open world based game. It is a better game than Tsushima was, with a better main character and a better driving plot. I am over the moon with how much I am enjoying this game. And wow. I am sorry I wasn't here to say that last week. I didn't know you guys wouldn't have played it for that conversation. But I really love this game. The only qualm I have about it at all, and this is a me thing and not a general player thing, is that one of the main mechanics is a kind of timed multiple parry system where you have to follow the animations and hit the left bumper in time to a lot of things happening in front of you. I am very much not good at super precise left bumper hitting with my left hand.
Gotcha.
So I can do the first one. I can block the first one. I can dodge out of the way. But most of my playing Yotei is a lot of me running around multiple combo attacks because I'm never going to be able to block all the things that are coming my way that way. So it's a little bit trickier for me to get fully engaged in some of the stuff Yotei is doing from a fighting system perspective, but the animations are so good. The systems are so good. The multiple weapon types are so good. It is just a much, much better game than Tsushima was. And I am super excited about playing the rest of it.
Nice. Do they have any accessibility options that could help with that? Like some help with auto parries or something?
I haven't checked for that. The one concession I've made for basically all the games that I have played is that for anything that requires a hold, I've switched it to a toggle. And almost all games have a toggle option for one of the bumper or trigger things that you might otherwise have to hold. So I've done that with all the games. But I think so much of the design of the Tsushima battle system is this kind of rapid fire parry, and then you get the big counter window when you parry all 4 or 5 things coming in, that I don't know that you could just turn it off and still have the game. Like I still want to play the game, even if I'm running around like a crazy person and rolling away from these combos that they're coming at me with.
So Rick Davis says you can set a custom difficulty where you can change the parry window. That may help you.
Yeah, that might. Yeah, I mean, it's funny because it's like that particular act of like you're holding the left bumper and pulling up and then pushing it back down with the precision timing is just really hard. Like I can focus and do any one of those things, but doing them all and then hitting a timing window is hard.
Okay. Yeah, it's great to hear, though. I've heard very similar commentary from pretty much everyone I've talked to about this game. I've seen all the photo mode pictures, which look absurdly gorgeous. I am very excited to get to it. I just, like I've said many times now, Battlefield and Borderlands are kind of 2 of my major jams, and it just so happens a month apart, we're getting both of them returning in pretty much peak form, which is awesome. So I just don't have the time to get to it. I think it'll be my holiday game, but I am very excited to jump in. So, yep. Awesome. Okay, I wanted to ask you about that. And then let me also ask you, because you weren't here last week, and I know you wanted to talk about it, Final Fantasy Tactics, Invalid Chronicles. How's that rolling for you?
I love this game, but I love this game in its original form. Final Fantasy Tactics, one of the best tactical role-playing games of all time. Great tactics, great job system, great choices to make on the battlefield in service of maybe the best, strongest story in the Final Fantasy entire encyclopedia. So combined, just a fantastic product. Then in this version, they've added voice acting, which is all really well done, as best I can tell, so far as I've gotten in this version so far, and just a bunch of user interface quality of life improvements. So much easier to tell what's going on, much easier to interact with all the things that you have to interact with in this game. The only caveat I have at all is that I really don't like where they wound up on the final visual presentation. And that is to say, its frame rate is great. It looks fine, but they've added what I would call like a screen door dithering effect to kind of emulate how a PlayStation 1 puts their graphics together. And not only is it unnecessary, I find it distracting in the game. So I think they went with a cleaner option when they did Tactics Ogre a few years back. If I could hit a button to turn that filter off, I would, and I think I'd be thrilled about the whole thing. But that filter over the top of everything that you're looking at all times, I just really dislike. Really unpleasant visually, but a great game.
Does it have a toggle for classic?
So it has both the classic game and the remake in the same package. So it's not a toggle. You can't run like and see the differences in front of you because they've changed so much about the user interface, but you can instead play the game from the 90s, including the old rendered movies, right? Like you can see the wild differences in what they've done here.
Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. That's another, I mean, there's so many releases to talk about. Travis, you have been reviewing Yuka Replayly, which you were playing, obviously, a couple weeks ago. How'd this one shake out? Because I am original backer of that game. We joked about it. I think Hogue and I both said our names are in the credits for that game.
Disclaimer,
So
I'm
is
also
mine.
a Kickstarter. Yeah.
All right. So all three of us are in the credits.
So
for
was
that
mine.
game.
As I found out, my buddy Matt was telling me to go find his name in the credits to see if it was still there in the new version. And then I also saw my own name, which is very bizarre because I do not remember backing that game. And also I don't do Kickstarters ever. So I was like, wow, what the heck? It's just a long time ago. I guess I forgot.
Yeah, I think that was the first game Kickstarter that I participated in. It might have been Tides of Numeria, but those were both around the same time. And that was when Kickstarter still had terms and conditions that said that the people making things had to produce them for you. And they changed that all years later. And that's when I basically stopped kickstarting things that weren't already done.
Yeah. Well, obviously, like everybody who backed that game, I'm a big Banjo-Kazooie fan and have always wanted this game to succeed. The original version was not great. Like I didn't review that game, but I probably would have given it like a 4 out of 10. I think it is a bad game, unfortunately. So Ryuka Replayly, they're actually giving this thing a real try. They're changing a whole bunch of stuff. I hope it turns out good, was basically the way I went into it. And unfortunately it's not, it is better. Like I gave it a 5 out of 10 is my score, but it has not, there are numerous changes, but it is not closing the gap of an additional 8 years onto this game's lifespan. So it's like it's an even older genre now, and I would say that 3D platformers have sort of moved on from that format, and you can see that they make very clear attempts to catch up. Like the original Yooka-Laylee kind of more follows the Super Mario 64 model of like having a few collectibles that are harder to get in each level. The 10 stars in each painting if you're going to go Super Mario 64 style with it. And this sort of tries to meet the modern conventions of the day, where in games like Super Mario Odyssey and Donkey Kong Bonanza, you're just getting a ton of collectibles all the time. And they did that by doubling the number of collectibles that you're grabbing in the game. The problem is that they're still using the same map, right? It's the same levels as the old one. And they didn't change a lot of the reason using the same map is a problem is because then you're sort of like cramming additional collectibles in spaces that they weren't before. And then on top of that, they didn't really adjust the game enough for that many collectibles. So one of the funnier anecdotes I have in my review is that after completing 2 levels, I was able to go and beat the game. There's 5 levels in the game, and because they didn't adjust, they adjusted how many stars you need to get. I'm calling them stars. They're not actually stars.
I think pages is what you were aimed at.
Pages, yeah.
They adjust slightly how many pages you need to get, but because there's 50 in each level now and you only need 120 to get to the boss, I just did 2 levels and then found some in like the overworld, and then I was like, oh, my current objective is just saying go like to the final battle. So I did, and I beat the game. And then I was like, okay, well, that was credits. I guess now I'll go back and play the other 3/5 of the game. and it was just very odd. I was like, it feels like they probably should have adjusted the number of pages you need. So yeah, that was really weird. And just some of the other stuff, like, it's like they make a lot of changes that kind of address the stuff I didn't like about the original incarnation, but when they do, they kind of make new problems. So like one example is that game had a problem where the original had the problem where you were slowly upgrading your character's abilities. So you felt really limited while you were playing the early part of the game. And then you would like get an ability to do an extra tall jump, and then you could access new areas and all that. And it would kind of like it would unlock over time. In this game, they give you literally every ability right away, which is better. It's like, all right, now it's just a matter of you like figuring out what you've got to do, and you can get to every single area. Any page you see, you can get there and you can accomplish it without having to backtrack and run around through levels. I think that model is preferable, but it adds a whole bunch of weird stuff. Like now that you're not unlocking the abilities, the character Trouser, who previously was the character you talked to all the time about getting new abilities, is now just like a vendor who stands at the beginning of the level and you talk to him like once. Right. So like his entire character's dead. Like you don't get to have any of the fun like banter. And it's just like, okay, that's weird. And there's a bunch of weird stuff like that is sort of introduced into the game as a side effect of the fact that they changed so much. And so it has that weird thing where it's like, okay, well, this is clearly better, but then also this thing is kind of a casualty of it. The flow of the campaign, the fact that you can beat it after 2 levels and the objective actually even tells you to do that. The fact that like you're missing out on some of the characters. And then the other thing is like the story changed quite a bit because of the fact that the game, it doesn't flow in the same way. And so it sort of skips over some like details and cutscenes. Like, for example, you guys remember the quizzes in the original game? It made you do like quizzes all the time.
I do. That was a stretch goal.
Yeah. People hated those. So they removed the quizzes. But unfortunately, the quizzes were where you spent most of the time with like the bad guys. So now you just don't. And so you kind of feel like you're fighting against characters you don't know. Like you never really encounter the Dr. Quack character now. You just see him in cutscenes. And then he doesn't show up at any point. And so it's like stuff like that where it's like the story kind of feels like it's like tortured because it's been Frankensteined to fit this new version of the game they wanted to. And so you sort of have to have played and remember the original for the second one to make sense. I did go back and play like half of the original for this review and was just sort of like the story makes more sense if you played the original, but if you didn't, it's like on its own, it's like just not, it doesn't really work as a standalone story. And so unfortunately, it is not as exciting as I'd hoped, but it is an improvement, like without question. And I know that the IGN reviewer of the original Ukulele, Marty Silva, gave it a 7. I would not have given it a 7. And so if you're wondering how it got to 7 to 5, it's because different people reviewed the game. I don't know what Marty Silva would give this one.
It says IGN, Travis.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I know we're a monolith,
IGN. But you do those commercials, it just says -IGN. It doesn't say Travis Northrop.
Yeah, well, there's this weird thing where I think my review is correct, and Marty Silva probably thinks his is correct. So
good.
What?
That's always a little problematic. But yes, I know that there's a whole bunch of people who love 3D platformers who believe that I must hate 3D platformers if I gave this game a bad score. It's just not the case. I like 3D platformers. I just wish
like
this
you
one
hate
were
cozy
better.
games too.
Yeah, that's me. That's
and
totally me.
dating sims, the whole
deal.
Yep, I hate
don't
them all.
like any games.
Really?
True, except for Baby Steps.
Baby Steps. All I like is physics-based walking simulators. It's my entire genre. I only get one game every 7 years.
It's very specific.
Yes, I do like 3D platformers. I will admit to having a higher standard to 3D platformers than I think a lot of people do. I sort of see like, when 3D platformers died, I wasn't like surprised. I was sort of like, well, yeah, this is a genre it's a genre that I loved that also kind of refused to evolve over a very long period of time. And so when they stopped making them, I was like, yeah, that checks out. But I still love them and I want them to be good. And when a good one comes along, I get all the way in. I got every single star in Mario Odyssey because I loved what they did with that game. I'm still working my way through Bonanza. I can't really speak to how much I love that one. But when a good platformer comes along, I love it. It's just This one does. It plays a little too much on nostalgia. It doesn't evolve enough. It has this weird Frankenstein quality to it, and I just I wish it were better. Unfortunately.
Yeah, and I once again this week say, all right, my buddy Travis has written this review of something I'm looking forward to, and he has pilloried it. I will play it and prove him wrong. And this has been a model of mine for a couple of years now. And the unfortunate fact that I have to relate to you, dear viewers and listeners, is that for the most part, I wind up almost always in a very similar place to Travis, even in games I'm looking forward to. And so for this one, I said, all right, I'll buy this. I bet I can find the fun more than he could, and we'll have a good time with it. And the unfortunate part of this is, as Travis suggested, you can't just take these things in a vacuum. So the game is fine. It's competent enough. It definitely feels butchered apart, as he just said. But in a market environment where on my Switch screen, I could be playing Yooka-Replay or Super Mario Galaxy or Galaxy 2 or Donkey Kong Bonanza,
Astrobot.
There's virtually no reason to click on the Yooka-Replay. And when you get to that point, like that's a 5 or worse, honestly. It just doesn't feel good to play. And against the things that do feel good, and in a 3D platformer, you really should feel like you're enjoying the actual act of moving your character in 3D space. It just doesn't make sense to actually fire it up. And I'm as sorry to say that as anyone. I was a backer to begin with. It never really lived up to expectations from that original recipe. I really liked the follow-up, Impossible Lair, which was a 2D platformer. But this one didn't quite come together. I don't think it's an improvement enough on the original to really recommend. If you're feeling like a 3D platformer, there are oodles of options, even in 2025, that you will have a better experience with for your dollar.
Yeah, and if you like the characters, go play Impossible Lair. So it's a great game.
Exactly. Yeah, Impossible Lair. There's a section that got cut from it because it's not really a 3D platformer, but like, yeah, 3D Impossible Lair is significantly better than this game.
Yeah, it's a really good game. I reviewed that one, I remember. Well, let's flip that on its head and talk about one of now the highest rated games this year, and a game, the only game so far that we at SG have given a 10 in 2025, and that is a little game called Absolum.
Oh. Wow.
Absolum. Yeah, I was like, I didn't know if you were going to continue with something there, Hogue.
No, like I said, this was on the list of Hogue's notes. I had no idea that you'd even heard of this game, Ains. So I apologize for not seeing your review.
You just don't listen.
Surprised by the 10. I think IGN gave it a 7. That's interesting.
Yes, which is wild.
Yeah, I'm gonna side with Ains
by all accounts. So it's sitting at nearly a 90 on OpenCritic. It was a fan favorite at Summer Game Fest. We previewed it back in August, I think. And then our reviewer has been diving in for the past couple of weeks. We got this one early. But if you don't know what this is, Absolum is it's basically a side-scrolling kind of beat 'em up, but then it mixes roguelike elements into it. And it's made by a combination of .emu and Tribute Games, if you know them from like Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, Streets of Rage 4. It's a marriage of some of the really talented studios that have been making these style of games for the past few years. And then it takes all of those and it combines them into this mashup of genres that apparently, by all accounts, works extremely well. And then it even has things like the soundtrack, which our reviewer would not stop talking about.
The music is incredible.
He literally calls it one of the best soundtracks maybe he's ever listened to in games. So if you don't know, it's a combination of Gareth Coker, who did the Ori soundtracks and Halo Infinite. Hold on, I have it right here. Mick Gordon, who of Doom fame, Motoi Sakuraba of Golden Sun and Tales series, and then Yuka Kitamura, who does Dark Souls and Elden Ring and the From games, all mixed together on one soundtrack. And
it's incredible.
It's supposedly just absolutely staggeringly good. So it's like an all-star, basically lineup of development through and through, right? From the developers to the soundtrack to the structure, everything. And I keep bringing this game up. I talked about it on XEP with Luke and Joe yesterday because it's such a wild time for games right now, especially big ones like Yotei and Battlefield and everything else. I don't want this one to get overlooked. So please.
And I think it will. Yeah.
I know. So please check out Absolum. It's ABSOLUM. It is, like I said, already one of the highest rated games of the year, and everyone I've talked to has played this game in some form. Absolutely adores it. So
It's
please check it out.
fantastic. It is fantastic. It's the height of art, as you already said. Its visuals are astounding. The reaction animations of the enemies that you're fighting are great. The actual feel of fighting is great. So exactly the opposite of what we were just talking about with Yooka-Laylee. This feels good to play. You are visually enthused about what you are seeing, and you're listening to some of the best music in gaming. Like, if you loved Expedition 33's soundtrack, and I think probably you did if you heard it, this is up there in that space. So this game is great. The reason I think it's going to potentially not find its audience is because of the structure of the game as a roguelike. It has that kind of Hades, you're going to die, and you're going to get a little bit of narrative, and you're going to go forward. The problem they have is, as you probably know, we just got a new Hades, right? And I bet nobody's done with that. I'm sure there's somebody out there that's already done all 75 runs to get Chronos in Hades 2, but I'm not done with it. I would be willing to bet most people aren't done with Hades 2. And when I play Absalom, one of the things that runs through my head as I'm on a run in this game is, oh, I should be playing more of Hades. And I should be, because that game is ridiculous. But so is Absalom. So don't sleep on it. I did read the IGN review, and the main problem they had with it was this notion that the roguelike aspects of the game had pulled apart what the character's fighting design was and was giving it back to you, which is a common kind of concern for a certain type of design with these games. I don't share that, having played through this a bunch. So it's going to be a reasonable minds can differ. Your mileage may vary situation for this game. I think the roguelike aspects of it really add to the feel of a different run and a different thing that you'll have to do, even with the same characters. And there's 4 different characters to actually work through and build the meta up for in this game. But realistically, it's probably the best beat 'em up fighting game that I've played since, I don't know, Turtles in Time. And so I can't recommend it more for that alone. You add an interesting narrative with magic shattering the world and fighting the people that are trying to keep wizards down and all this good stuff, with some of the best graphics I've seen in a game like this. And this is one of my favorites of the year as well. But I also can't tell you, if you've already spent your 30 or 50 bucks on Hades 2, that you need to spend another, I don't even know what Absalom cost me, 20 bucks to buy this one. It is a different genre. It's a beat 'em up game, like a Double Dragon or a Turtles in Time or whatever you want to frame that out with as your reference point, rather than Hades, which is an action game, but from a different perspective and with different kind of things to manage. But if it all interests you based on what we've said, check it out. It is top of the line through and through. And if you're looking for that kind of experience, you'll find it there.
Yeah, well said. Yeah, I've been talking to our reviewer for weeks about this one, and he just, I mean, it's just constant raving. So shout out to Elu, who's usually in our chat. He says it's not only one of the best games you'll play all year, it's my current favorite game of the year, and it's a game I'll always look fondly back on. So he said basically, like, it's, I guess, kind of like Hades, right? He's like, but because anyone who's played these side-scrolling games like the classic D&D games or the Dragon's Crown, this doesn't have loot like that. But he said, like, every run, there's new areas that'll pop up. There's new characters that'll show up. He's like, every single time he was surprised at something new popping up and surprising him in a positive way. And he was just, yeah, he's raved about it. So
I love the rogue designs that are going into games. I mean, one of my other Hogs notes, which I will bring up later, is a rogue game that's popping off on Steam. I think they're doing such cool things with these designs and adding that replayability factor that they're essentially single player, full price, or at least top price games that are emulating kind of the free-to-play battle pass dopamine drip that you get from those games, just from the rogue elements in them. So I think the premium price games have found a way to tap into that gamer market in a way that's really, really cool. And this is maybe the best implementation I've seen this side of a Hades game. And I will say, on a narrative perspective, I think there's a lot of cool stuff in Absalom. It isn't at the Supergiant Hades level. And you wouldn't expect it to be. But it's not quite there. And it does take some swings at that.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, I'm excited to play more of it. I bought the physical for Switch, so I'm just waiting for that cartridge arrive, I figured that'd be a fun one to kind of have on the Switch.
Yeah, that's a great choice.
So. Cool. All
Maybe
right.
you can get around the one issue I have with it, which is that they compressed the living crap out of the opening cinema. And it's like, okay, I get that you have a limited amount of space on the Switch, but I can't have that much artifacting when you've got contrasting blacks and colors. It's
in Absolute?
Yeah. Just the open,
okay.
just the movie file, right?
Yeah,
you just take it down one notch too far and it's just black cubes everywhere.
Yeah. I'll real quick touch on Little Nightmares 3 that came out this week, as did our review. So our reviewer gave Little Nightmares 3 a 7. He was a veteran of the first two. I think it's right in line with where the game is sitting critically across the board in the 7s. From what I've gathered from both him and some of the other people I've talked to, it is it kind of, replicates Little Nightmares at its core, and what that is with its experience. It's 4 levels long. It's got your big creepy things and your puzzles to work through. But he said it really doesn't go anywhere as meaningful as the first two if you really enjoyed those. So he liked it. He thinks it's good. Like I said, gave it a 7, but he wasn't like, this doesn't do anything to push Little Nightmares forward or do anything special. So I think check it out if you like it. I'm pretty sure I'm going to definitely play through that because I love the first two, but little disappointing that Supermassive taking over the series didn't seem to result in a top tier game.
I think anytime you've got a new creative team taking on a product with a certain lineage, you either have the impulse to break it entirely apart and build your own thing, which has its own dangers. We've seen that throughout media, but more likely the new team wants to really fit into the footsteps of what came before, and maybe not even take the genre stretching that the same team would have done if they had a crack at it again, right? Nobody wants to make the same game again. So Hades 2 isn't identical to Hades 1, as an example, and Little Nightmares 2 isn't identical to Little Nightmares 1, and 3 would have changed it as well. But if you're giving it to a new creative force, they see what exists before. They want to just fit into that mold. I think that's probably what happened here. And I'm not a super fan of the series. I haven't played this third one, but it doesn't surprise me that they took the safest path available to them.
Yeah, it's a shame because I loved 1 and 2. So Stephen H actually just commented and he said, yeah, I just finished Little Nightmares 3. It did nothing for me. It's not scary at all. And the force multiplayer takes away from the gameplay, which I think most reviewers, I know ours did, said like he had to restart several times because the AI co-op partner wasn't doing what they were supposed to do. So you couldn't even finish the puzzle. That gets frustrating really quick when it's a requirement for the game. So yeah. All right, Travis, I know you talked about Yuka Replay. I'm kind of bouncing around between us here. Any other game you're playing that you can talk about right now?
No.
Okay.
No,
I just wanted to check.
My entire catalog is embargoed. No,
it's that time of year, right?
Yeah, it is. I'll have some games I can talk about. No, actually, I won't next week. I can't.
Not next week.
We'll invite him back to the show in December.
Think about it. Yeah, so I'll talk to you guys, and then I'm also gone on October 24 weekend. That weekend, I already told you guys about that. But yeah. So
yeah, we'll talk through it. But okay,
I'm going to Clock Tower Con in Vegas, in case anybody's curious.
There's a Clock Tower Con. Oh, you mean Blood on the Clock Tower?
That's right.
I was thinking the old school PC
just for clock towers. Yeah.
No, I thought it was the old PC horror game Clock Tower, and I was like, that can't possibly have a convention.
It does. There's 6 people,
and one of them murders the other 5.
I'm surprised Blood on the Clock Tower has a convention, to be quite honest with you. But
well, with that kind of design, at least it's useful to get hundreds of people in the same space.
Yeah, I guess that's something I can promote if you want to watch. I've been appearing on some of the Blood on the Clock Tower streams lately, so there's a video of me playing that game online recently.
This was game talk, not promotion talk. That's
watch Travis poison.
It's a game. But yeah, I got I'm not sure, Hogue, if you're familiar with the wizard minion character in that game, but I had a pretty funny wizard wish. It was good times.
It's funny that you ask me it that way because how many freaking characters are in Blood? Like 100?
Like over 200. Yeah.
Okay.
Couple hundred.
Yeah, it's like, no, I have not memorized everybody's powers, certainly.
Yeah. Well, I have.
Ains, let us talk tabletop.
These guys are on a private conversation, apparently. I don't know what the hell is going on right now.
You were talking about games you played. I don't know. I'm just
Hey,
trying to contribute.
If you
that's
enjoy
what we
a
do
strategy
here.
video game or a
That's what I'm
turn-based
doing.
video game, you're going to enjoy a tabletop game from time to
Yeah,
time.
are we only video games here? We can't talk about
Yes.
board games.
That's
That is
what.
correct.
There are no bits in our board games. That's true.
Bits and bobs.
Well, this was a tabletop game I played online. So, what is it a video game? That's my question.
Moving on. So speaking of tabletop video games, Lego Party. I want to promote Lego Party again.
Oh, yeah. So, okay, we can talk about Lego Party.
Let's
so
see your negativity on Lego Party, Hogue.
I think people have heard enough of my over-the-top positivity in this show, and now we can talk about Lego Party.
Oh, you're going to go against the grain here. Let's go.
Which is to say, you got me excited about this product, and
Yes.
it came out, and I said, you know what? I could go for a new party game. I'll get Lego Party.
Yep.
And I played this game, and I understand parts of what people like about it. I think they've done some interesting things with kind of the Lego sense of humor and the announcers kind of announcing the games as you play them. I think the mini games themselves are pretty close to garbage. Like, these are some of the worst things that I have felt playing. The controls don't feel good. I didn't enjoy them. And so this is one of those games where every once in a while you'll hear me say I took a flyer on something and I actually regret that purchase. Lego Party is one of those games I regret buying.
Get him, chat. No, that's interesting. And all jokes aside, because you're honestly, I won't say the first, right? But that's the most negative take I've heard on Lego Party from the people I know playing it. Joe in Trophy Room streamed it yesterday. I know even Giant Bomb was talking about how good it is with Dan Reichert saying the mini games are better than Mario Party, which I agree with. So I'm really shocked to hear you say the mini games are terrible because I think they're really well done.
I think the Mario Party Jamboree mini games are way better than Lego Parties. But I do understand they're a different vibe, and they're really much more action-oriented than the Mario Party games are.
I mean, I don't know how you look. I have not played Lego Party. I bought it
right now.
I bought it, but I have not played it yet. But I don't know how you could get worse than Mario Party Jamboree. I mean, a lot of those games are you just tapping the A button and stuff. You know what I mean? Like some of those are really
much
bad.
more inventive. Yeah, in Mario.
I mean, I haven't seen them. I just know like the bar is very low, right? Like the Mario Party mini games are like you tapping A, or like, it's like, oh, can you catch the butterfly? And you hit like one button when it goes by you. Like they're just very simple.
Yes, they are simple by design and accessibility. The Lego Party games are much closer to bad little action games.
They are not.
Interesting.
Objection, sir. I don't know if that's when I would object, but I'm doing it.
Yeah.
No, feel free to object.
Joe,
I know you were enthused about this game, and I was not enthused about it. That's one of the reasons I thought that buying it, I could, if you're not looking forward to something particularly, then you can be impressed by it when it comes in. And I was just not. Like, there's other aspects of it that I don't like. Like, I don't think they use the Lego-ness of the boards enough. I don't think they're doing enough building and creativity with the actual playing of it. It's still just the Mario Party board game kind of approach. But I do like the characters. I do like the announcers. I wish I liked actually playing the mini games, because that's obviously where the bulk of the gameplay comes from.
By the way, Hogue,
Yeah.
last week when you weren't here, Joe was trying to fill the spot of lawyer, and he kept saying objection and then overruled. So he was like overruling his own objections as a judge. And I was very impressed by his ability to invalidate his own objections by overruling them. It was interesting.
Yeah. Alex says, hashtag, what's it say?
Oh, that's sorted out lawyers gaming takes.
Sorted out lawyers.
Sorted hour is what he types, but I got you. Sorted out lawyers gaming take. Lego Party is better than Mario Party. Yeah. But anyway,
I'd love to be on your side of this. I like to like things.
No, that's fine. Yeah. But yeah, I would still recommend it if you like those types of games. It has crossplay, it has online co-op. You can play with AI, obviously, at different difficulty levels.
It doesn't have randoms. That surprised me. It doesn't. You can't just say I want to play a party and put some people in my room. It doesn't do that.
You mean matchmaking?
Yes, I guess.
Yeah, it does not have matchmaking. No, it doesn't. So you can set up a room to play with your friends, or play online cross couch.
Who would do matchmaking on a party game? Like the whole point is playing with your friends, right? Like that sounds like terrible to me. It's like, oh, I want to hop in.
It's a kangaroo court in here.
You've never met anybody
Okay.
online that you enjoy and add to your friends list and play a game
I
with
mean,
them
yeah,
again?
but that's not matchmaking though. That's you
No,
inviting your
no,
friends.
no. But I mean, in order to meet that person to begin with, you had to be randomly put together.
But randomly put together in a party game? That's like, I just can't imagine that, man. Just hopping into, like, the whole point of party games is you're playing with your homies, right? Playing with randoms? That's crazy, dude. That's unhinged behavior. That's
I don't
crazy.
understand the difference between playing a party game with randoms and shooting them in the face in Battlefield. Like, I just don't understand where
I
the line is.
I'll have to think. I'll have to
Because I can't
meditate on
shoot him
this
in the
and
face
write
in
about
Lego
it.
Party. I mean, come
But
on.
it's like the interaction of like a shooter, if you're fighting like against them or alongside them, the interaction is a lot different than if you're randos. I'm confused by that
This
one.
conversation took turns I didn't expect it to. But
I don't
there you
know.
go.
There's
Check out Lego
it's just
Party.
a different interaction, you know. It's like going to a bar with random.
I'm with you, Travis. I don't
Do you
know
get what
why
I'm saying?
I can't articulate it, but I wouldn't
Yeah.
want to play Mario or Lego Party with randoms. That doesn't appeal to me.
It's like going to a concert with people you don't know versus like going ice skating with them. It just feels more intimate and less like you can. I don't know. That's the best I got right now. Thinking on the fly.
No, I just like the
should leave it
example
there.
date in your head. Like, this is too intimate. This feels
It's just a
awkward.
weird
is
thing to do with
ice
people you
skating.
don't know. Yeah, I don't know. That's all I got.
That's good. That's good. But anyway, yeah, check it out. Trophy Room did a stream of it yesterday with Kyle, Light, and Joe. They had a lot of laughs, so you could probably get a good feel for whether or not you'll like it by watching that. Hogue, you said you had another note.
Oh yeah, I got
Let's
lots
talk
of
about
Hogue's
it.
notes. I got 2 weeks full of these. I'm not going to give you them all because I don't want to just talk about them for 3 hours. But one thing that I wanted to mention that I don't know that we've talked about on this show before is a game that's popping off on Steam called Clover Pit. You heard of this?
I have not.
All right, so Clover Pit takes the kind of Balatro format where you've got artifacts and things that you're going to add to a simple game that you're otherwise playing, and changes it from poker hands to slot machines. And I talked about Slots and Daggers a few weeks ago, which is a game I'm really looking forward to. That is a mashup of a slot machine and kind of a turn-based RPG battling thing that I am really excited about coming out later this year. This is a completely different thing. This is you're stuck in some kind of hell room. You don't really get a lot of context for this. Story is not what Clover Pit's about, but you have to go and play this slot machine and hit certain amounts of coins to pay off the devil so that you're not thrown further into hell, whatever it is that's happening. The point is, if you don't make enough coins from your slot machine, you're going to fall through the floor. And the graphics are grimy and gross. The slot machine is plain as anything. It's just cherries and bells and what you would expect from an old school 1960s Atlantic City slot machine.
Yeah.
But the design of the game is where it really shines, with the interaction between like the trinkets and what it is that you're actually going to be doing to try to make this slot machine give you enough money. So like just like Balatro, the amounts that you need to make get obscenely high. You don't think there's any way to make them, but you can change what each symbol is worth. You can change what each kind of pattern is worth, the horizontal rows, the vertical rows, those kinds of things. And you put them together and have this just really great interaction and really addictive gameplay loop. And so I wanted to mention it because I do think that they just announced they had sold like 750,000 in the first 2 weeks. It's an indie wild smash success. So I popped my head in. I think it's $10. But the design is really, really strong. The graphics are, in my opinion, god awful. Like I don't like to look at it while I'm playing it, but it's a really fun actual gameplay loop. So I wanted to tell people about it because I've been enjoying roguelike sensibilities on really simple game mechanics. The Balatrofication of these rogue games, where rogue used to require you to have to do something of a certain amount of skill. And now we're just saying, pull the lever, see what happens on the slot machine, and see if you can make the risk work for you. So Clover Pit, check that one out. The other game I wanted to mention that I've been enjoying this week is one that I haven't heard talked about anywhere, which is a tiny, tiny game that I'm playing on my Switch 2 called Dawn Folk. Dawn, like the start of the day, and folk, like folk tales. So this is a game where you're building up a little town, and like so many of these little indie games, darkness has descended upon the world, and you're just the
What?
last torch in the darkness, and you have to add light to the world. So you're exploring the world by adding light and keeping your home fires burning properly, while also managing people and materials and other aspects of resources before the dark storms can come in and take over your town. So you add that with some procedural generation and some tricks and things that they're doing with puzzle modes and things, and it's just a really good bang for your buck. I think it was $10 or $15. So
15.
Okay, great. So I think this is like a small team or even probably a single person type project. It's all very simple pixel art. But one of the really cool things about it is like if you go to chop down a forest, it'll have a tiny little mini game where you just have to time the axe hitting the tree. Like the tiniest little mini games for all this little stuff within the little square that's otherwise showing you what your town looks like. So it's just a really cool concept. I found it to be very, very well designed. And I wanted to tell people about it. Like so many of the Hogs know, it's because I haven't heard anybody mention it anywhere before now. So check out Dawn Folk. Clover Pit you'll be able to find because it's on the top of the Steam sellers lists, I think. But Dawn Folk I wanted to mention. And then I have one last one, but I don't know if you want me to do that or if we need to move on, Ains. Just let me know.
Nope, just hit it. The only thing real quick I'll say, so yeah, Dawn Folk is $15 on Steam, very positive reviews. And then as Barry just calls out in our chat, there is a demo for Clover Pit on Steam as well if you want to try it. So
nice. Yeah. Give it a try. You'll see what Clover Pit is with a demo. There's no doubt about that. The last one I wanted to mention, which is kind of a kind of mixed report from me, is a cool game called Buy Sweet Carol that I bought this week. There's an old game that I really enjoyed that I never saw a follow-up to called Heart of Darkness, in which you were a little boy that was trying to save his dog and was hunted down by shadow monsters, and you really couldn't combat them very well, and you had to run from left to right and do all these things in the kind of cinematic platformer genre of Out of This World or Another World or Flashback, which I know I'm pulling from things that are before people were born in this chat, but it is seasoned gaming here, folks. So I really enjoyed that game. This is a game that follows in those same footsteps. It's a horror kind of game where you're playing as someone that's pretty much Snow White. And it's got a hand animated style so that you look like Snow White while you're playing it, but you're also hunted by shadow monsters and really evil looking things. I would give it full-hearted, full-throated recommendation if it felt a little better to play. It feels a little clunky. It's primarily an action adventure with adventure game elements, so it doesn't concern itself so much with feeling good to actually walk around in. But it looks great. It looks amazing. It looks like an animated movie. And I think if you're at all interested in strange stuff and you want to support novelty, it's worth checking out if only for the art, even though the gameplay is a little bit clunkier than I would like.
Okay, yeah. Looking at it now, it's actually on sale on Steam right now it's normally $25. It's on sale for $20. It looks like an old animated film. Pretty cool.
Yeah, it reminds me of King's Quest VII, I think it is, The Princeless Bride, where they were experimenting with doing cartoons that looked like a Don Bluth movie or a Disney movie.
Yep. Okay, cool. It yeah, to your point, it's not as highly rated as the other two you just mentioned, but still looks very cool. So
well, I don't look these up in advance. These are just my vibes on these things, but yeah,
that's cool.
I have no doubt it isn't as highly rated.
Yeah. All right, fantastic. Well, I want to talk about our kind of game highlight then is Battlefield.
Yeah, let's do it.
So Battlefield 6 released officially Friday morning, global release. Shockingly, if anyone, well, let me back up a little bit. So if you're not ultra familiar with Battlefield's obviously been around a long time. At one point, it was a, top tier, kind of top of the charts shooter. And then, over the past decade plus, we've gotten some iterations that were good, but not great. And then we got 2042, which was a pretty big letdown, which was their last major release. So if you also are not familiar with Battlefield, traditionally have not had great launches. They have had a lot of problems at launch. They need a lot of tuning, or the servers are messed up, or all sorts of other things have happened I won't go into. So Battlefield 6 launches on Friday morning. It has launched to wild success. So within, I think, 2 hours of launching it, Pat, it hit nearly 750,000 concurrent on Steam alone. It is, from what I understand, the highest concurrent player count for a full price multiplayer game. So if you take away free to play, you take away the $20 or $40 releases. This is a $70 or $100 game, depending on the edition you buy.
God, what is $100?
Yeah, so it's 70 if you buy the $30 extra. You get obviously cosmetics and other stuff, but you also get the first battle pass, and you get a premium token, which is like you get the extra battle pass niceties, level unlocks, all that stuff. I bought the regular one. So I am a huge Battlefield guy. I'd say outside of Halo and Gears, it's probably my most played multiplayer. We're talking thousands of hours. I was a little let down with, Battlefield 1 was good, not great. Battlefield 5 was less so. 2042 was a disaster in many ways. It turned into an okay game lately, but 6 has been a proper return to form for me. I have played it nonstop over the past 2 days. It is pretty much everything I wanted out of Battlefield in 2025. Not Battlefield 2025, but you know what I mean. A modern Battlefield game. It feels like Bad Company 2 / Battlefield 3 and 4, which is kind of the heyday era of the franchise. It feels right to play. Destruction's fun. The vehicle plays are good. The just general movement and absolute chaos happening at all times is next level. I already have tons of clips saved of just wild things happening. You know what I mean? Like an ATV trying to run me over, me sniping a guy in full speed off of it as a helicopter explodes in front of me from crashing down to the ground, while a jet crashes into a building and bodies go flying everywhere. I mean, it's just absolute chaos in the best possible way. There's tons of my friends are playing this, and I just can't say enough good things. It has all your classic modes of conquest, rush, domination. It adds a few new wrinkles with modes called escalation and breakthrough, which are like plays on rush and conquest a little bit. It has a training mode. It has all your classic class play. I could just go on and on about this, but at its core, it's not perfect. And I think they'll continue to tune this up. But for a launch product, for them to launch with that many players in a multiplayer game on Friday, and generally speaking, there was a little queuing out of the gate, but really there haven't been any major issues. I have not had trouble getting into a game at all. And it's just insanely addicting. It feels like we are completely back with Battlefield, and all I want to do right now is play more Battlefield. I was up till 2:30 a.m. last night. I was up till 2 a.m. the night before. I'm very tired, but I just want to keep playing. Time disappears when you're playing this game. So if you are a Battlefield fan, I assume you're probably already in this game, as it's seemingly sold millions of copies on day one. But if you're not, and you're debating, if you're wondering if Battlefield is actually back, it's back. All of my kind of hardcore Battlefield friends that I'm playing this with, who were really hoping Battlefield was truly back, are having a blast. So I'll stop there. Tell me your questions. I'll see if I can answer any. But
well, I mean, I think my question is generic, which is to say, I think the last time I played a Battlefield game, I think was the one with the horse. That's what I remember.
That was
in my
one.
head.
That was
okay.
one.
So I didn't exactly bounce off it as much as I just stopped playing it.
Sure.
After a time, I have enjoyed Battlefields in the past, but why is this one the one that I should be excited to jump back into? What is working so much about this?
That's a great question. So I would say that it does, when Battlefield's at its best, I would say two things, and people are going to have a lot of opinions here, but I would say the two things that make Battlefield unique are, and I know it's cliche, but Battlefield moments, which they used to actually advertise, if you remember, in that Battlefield generates these moments in real time that are unscripted that no other game does. And I would argue those are back. So if you combine the vehicle play with just the chaos of the environments, the weaponry, the destruction, all coming together to create very unique scenarios and unique ways to play that no other shooter is doing well anyway, or as well. And two, I would say squad play. So they put the focus back on squad play with your 4 classes, your engineer, your support, your assault, and your recon. And so that classic play of like you get your squad together, squad captain can throw out instructions of where to go, but you have great like revive system, supply system. So it rewards playing as a squad like it should better than most games. And in fact, a couple of the guys I play with, they're not really big shooter guys in the sense of like they're not going to be the guys out there with a 3-auto KD, you know what I mean, shooting people
Oh no,
expertly.
I've never seen 3.
But you don't have to be. That's what always has made Battlefield fun, is if you play together as a team, you have your players who are out there getting sweaty trying to get all the kills. You don't have to do that. So, not to call anyone out from a skill level, but like I have some friends who are just they admit that's not their thing, but they're reviving, they're supplying, they're capturing points, they're flanking, and they're literally like at the top 10 of the scoreboard in points because the game really rewards you for supporting your teammates. So I would say those two things really make it enjoyable, even if you're not like sweaty, hardcore FPS guy.
Agreed.
You're talking my language now. I like to spot for people and throw first aid kits at them.
Yeah, no, it's a blast. There's some progression systems around all that stuff. There's daily, weekly challenges. There's, unlocks. They've got all that stuff in there. But the funny thing is the Battle Royale is not out yet. That's coming at a later time. And the season 1, so the battle pass and everything doesn't start till the 28th. So just a little over 2 weeks. And it feels like a bygone area where I just want to say, I don't care. I don't need the battle pass. I don't need the Battle Royale, to be honest with you. I'm having so much fun just playing this game at its core with my friends like we used to a long time ago before everything got monetized to hell. It's refreshing almost, honestly. It just feels like you're playing Battlefield 4 probably is the closest comparison. It feels like you're playing Battlefield 4 in 2025. It's extremely well optimized. It's stunningly gorgeous for a multiplayer game. Like I'm playing on PC, so I am playing on the higher end of things because I have a pretty strong PC. But like even my friends on PS5 and Series X say there are no issues. Frame rate's beautiful. It looks great. All the destruction. It's not really shortcut in any way there. So yeah, I can't say enough good things about it. I'm so happy, if you can't tell, that to have proper Battlefield back.
Oh, I think that's great. Just one last thing, and this will be obvious to anybody that already knows anything about this game. I haven't looked at it at all. What era is this? Is this just Modern Warfare? Is this World War II?
Now,
what is it?
Basically.
Okay.
It's now, yeah.
Yeah. They give you a silly story. I'm not a campaign guy for Battlefield. I don't care. I will never play it. So
I don't have a lot of faith in their campaigning.
That's why
I've talked to some of the review. Sorry, Travis.
I was just saying that's why we reviewed them separately, because the single player I think got a 5 from us. It's not very good.
Yeah, I've talked to a few people who did review it. Jesse over Era. I know Luke was talking to a few others. And it's like it's fine. You know what I mean? It's a few hour romp through action scenes, as you would expect, bombastic, but it's not why I play Battlefield. So a lot of comments in the chat here. I've played with some of the people commenting too. So Rick says, agreed with everything you've said, Ains. Everyone I'm talking to on our Discord, on social media, it's just.
I like the idea that Ains is just highlighting all the comments. I agree with everything you said, Ains. Next comment. Ains, you're looking handsome this morning. Next comment.
Can't watch anymore.
Ains, did you lose weight? Stuff like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the first one that was here, man.
Agree with everything you said. And then he only highlights the comments that are like people shitting on my reviews every time I talk about them. He's like, here's a first comment. Travis is an idiot. Get out of the industry. It's very funny.
Yeah. But no, it's a general consensus. I even played. So, you have those buddies who you game with for time periods in your life. And, a good friend of mine back east in real life, we played games together a decade plus ago, back when Battlefield was in its prime, like I said, and we don't play much anymore, but he got on last night. We played all night, and he texted me this morning like that was the most fun he's had in a long time. Oh, here's a good one for you. Ains has the best hair in the game. All true. Thank you, Travis. Yeah.
Not on his head though.
But anyway, I would say like I said, if you like or have liked Battlefield in the past, you were concerned about whether this would launch well, perform well, live up to the hype, all that jazz. I would say overwhelmingly it has. If you're going in for single player campaign on Battlefield, I don't know why you would. It's not why I would approach this game. But if you're looking for that classic Battlefield conquest, rush, multiplayer, squad play, destruction, chaos, it's here in spades. And I can't wait to play more of it tonight, honestly. So,
yeah, I unfortunately will probably not have like a ton of time for this game, which is unfortunate because I really enjoyed my preview of that game. Like I only played it for like 4 or 6 hours, something like that. But not only did it come back to me really quickly, and I was just like super enjoying just destroying those matches, but also, yeah, it seems like they made a good game and reminded me a lot of Battlefield 4, which was the one that really captured my attention back in the day. So, yeah, it's a cool game.
Yeah.
Wish I had more time for it. Probably won't.
A couple questions here to answer. Gentlestone, shout out to Gentlestone. He says, campaign a good way for newbies to get used to the controls. You can. There's also training modes. So there's training, there's a shooting range, and there are training modes that actually teach you how to play the objective modes, because you do need to know kind of the strategy around some of the modes. They do differ. So it's got plenty of stuff in the game to help new people get used to it.
I also feel like the campaigns make me worse at the game because they get you
unless you
like certain types of engaging, like walking out into the open and like just stuff that real players aren't going to let you get away with. You know what I mean? Like so be careful about that.
It's very intense. Like we were joking on XCP yesterday, like I'll be playing and like, you'll run and dive behind a rock and you're getting sniped and vehicles are shooting you. I'm literally like in my chair playing like this. Like, you know what I mean? Like you feel yourself ducking and weaving and like trying to hide. It's very intense. And the sound design, classic Battlefield, if you have good home theater or headset, you want it because the sound design is spectacular.
Oh yeah, my wife will get on me when the stereo speakers start going.
It's wild. Yeah.
My wife also gets on me.
I'm glad to hear it, buddy.
Rob Frawley, shout out to Rob. He said, I walked away for a moment. Sorry if you said, how are the queue times? I haven't had a single queue. I think that was literally right when the game went live. I have not seen anything since then. I get right in and start, no problem at all. And we've also played, I was playing last night with 2 people on Xbox, 1 on PS5, and I'm on PC, and no problems at all there either. So, yep. Yes, it is, Bacon. Shout out to Bacon. Playing with him the other night. Bacon.
I just like a general shout out to Bacon.
Shout out to Bacon and our friend Bacon. Yeah.
Dip those bacons in your Frosties, folks. Let's go.
Jesus Christ.
Sounds kind of good. Salt and chocolate. You know what I mean, Hogue? You get it?
I mean, they do have chocolate covered bacon. That is a thing.
See, now you're starting to get it.
Doesn't mean it's something you should do. Please, guys. Try to live past 28. That's my advice.
So there's other comments. Captain Chat says it's very well optimized. I mean, if there were, I'm trying to think of like complaints about it. I think obviously they're rolling out the new season, the battle pass and stuff. So if you're like big into that, like the progression for the pass, that's a couple weeks out yet. Battle Royale is not there yet. One of the big, I guess, things that the Battlefield community is talking about is, at least in your default modes, classes are not locked to specific weapons. So anyone who's played Battlefield knows like support gets LMGs and recon gets snipers and that type of thing. In this, you can actually pick any class and then pick any weapon by default. There is a mode where it's class locked. I don't think that's too big of a deal, but obviously some of the hardcore guys are complaining about that. But otherwise, I really have no complaints. So a couple comments.
I guess my only concern with multiplayer shooters is how bad am I going to feel if I suck for 3 solid hours? So if there are mechanisms to prevent that feeling, that's good.
Yeah, I mean, my friend who played last night, who I said, good friend in real life, he doesn't play these things at all. He was going like 5-20 in most of the matches, you know what I mean? But he had a great time. He's the one who texted me this morning. You can still put points up on the board. Like I said, it sounds stupid, but one of the most fun things about this game reviving, like as a support person, is you can drag the guys while you're reviving them. So like, someone runs out around a corner, they get shot and downed, and you can literally grab them by their neck as you're reviving them and like pull them back around the corner or like into a building or into a ditch. It's just a lot of fun playing with your friends and playing in a squad.
Yeah.
So
It
I
sounds
love
it.
pulling people into a ditch.
yeah, it's one of
I
my
might
I
jobs.
also
try
like playing
it.
video games.
And Zanoob just says on your channel, Hogue, he says he or she says the best part about the large team games like Battlefield is you don't feel like you hold your team down as much if you've had a bad round, which is also true. In 2 teams of 32, if you have a bad round, it's not your fault that you lost necessarily, but I will blame you anyway, Hogue.
No, my bigger problem is usually if I'm the best on the team, then we undoubtedly lost. I can't be in that slot.
Yeah. Let's see. Fifth string here. I'll get a couple comments real quick, Travis.
Okay, fifth string member for 32 months writes, Battlefield 6 is going to bring me back into video games. Easy. Well,
Good.
sorry you left. There's a lot of games. I don't think you needed to wait for this one. But that's up to you.
That's my buddy Max. Car guy, races in real life, so he's big into the racing, like sim racers. So we used to talk quite a bit about that. So that's good, Max. Glad to see you, and definitely get into Battlefield, man. It's fantastic.
It is always funny to see what things, quote, bring back video games. Like I have a casual friend who told me video games are so back when he played Ready or Not, that SWAT game. And I was like, really?
Yeah.
That's the one? That's the one that brought you back? Okay. All right.
Ready or
People
Not is
have their
intense.
preferences.
It is very
Yeah.
intense.
Yeah, they have their
I
preferences.
suck at that game. I only played it for a couple hours, but I was like, man, this is not clicking with me. I'm getting destroyed.
My buddy I was just talking about with Battlefield, Borderlands and Battlefield, those are the only, because those 2 just came out, he's back playing. He wasn't playing anything. Yeah. Happens. Don Lionheart in chat.
Don Lionheart, $5 super chat. Haven't watched it yet, but I noticed last week's Bitcast was 2 hours. Are we returning to hashtag make Bitcast a 3-hour
We are not.
podcast? Thinking face. That is a kind of I'm gonna go with impish face. Yote is very good.
Yeah, I can't see that one at all. I thought it was somebody being kidnapped. Like it's the chloroform.
It's kind of like the giggle face, it's like
Oh.
Yeah,
face.
little giggle. Yeah. I went with impish.
In my head, I saw somebody being chloroformed from behind.
Oh, there you go. That's impish too. Impish behavior.
Okay. Hogue, took a turn. I like it.
Hey, Hogue's
dragging people into ditches, It's happening.
Hogue's just drawing from his lived experience, You
notice
see what
how
you know.
You notice how familiar when I was like, you grab him by the neck and pull him in the ditch, and Hogue's like, got it. Yeah, I'll be good at this one.
Well, I mean, what I was imagining is that would look cool.
Stand-up comedies.
That would look cool in a gaming environment, right? Like you talked about Battlefield moments, but anything that can kind of make it into that cinematic movie thing, you're seeing somebody pull somebody into a doorway to get out of harm's way. I could imagine being cool. There's no question.
Yeah.
Imagine. It's not.
I can imagine it being cool.
Yeah.
He said imagine because he said out of harm's way. So he's like,
I
guess that could be cool too.
Yeah, we pulled them out of the
indeed
out of harm's way. That's a thought. Yeah.
Hogue's relatable stand-up comedy scene. Guys, when you're chloroforming someone and they just won't go down, and our audience is like, what?
They just keep fighting, and you're like,
Well, the real trick is you're deciding how much to put on the cloth. Yeah.
I got a bad batch of chloroform from my dealer. Like, it's just, it's not good. Don, thank you, Don. He also says this.
Also, TwitchCon this week. 5-day vacation equals needed. Sure.
Okay. Yeah.
What do they do at TwitchCon? What happens there?
I need to ask him because I told him to have a great time.
They break that one girl's back, right? That was TwitchCon a few years ago. You don't remember they had the foam pit, and they had her jump into it?
It caught me off guard because we were just joking about you chloroforming people.
Yeah.
So what happens at TwitchCon? You're like, well, you break that girl's back, first of all.
What do I do at TwitchCon? Well, let me tell you about the last girl I chloroformed.
I dropped her in this pit I thought was safe, and she broke her back. I don't know what happened.
How many times you guys are going to love his set at TwitchCon?
There's just so many convention stories, right? Like, it wasn't TwitchCon that just had the tiny ball pit in the corner of the warehouse. That was some other random conference, right?
it's
You
ringing a
tell
bell.
me, Hogue.
But yeah.
I don't know what they do. I assume TwitchCon is just a bunch of streamers. You just get autographs from streamers or something. Sounds like my personal hell.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
there's VidCon, there's TwitchCon, there's CrimeCon. Like, if you're a lawyer on YouTube, you get like a lot of random convention emails.
It's too funny. Oh my god. All right, I'm cracking up over here. Thank you, Don, for the super chats. I lost completely my train of thought here with these comments.
Train? Hogue, anything to add?
I don't think so. I like trains.
Okay.
All right. No,
Or
we are not
co-counsel.
becoming a 3-hour show again. We went a little longer last week just because we had Joe here and we were on the Xbox topic for a while, which I'm going to segue here off the games because Hogue wasn't here last week. So Hogue, we talked last week a lot about obviously the Game Pass pricing changes, just Xbox in general of kind of where they're going right in their model. And we saw, for those of you who may have missed it, there's obviously been questions around, okay, we get the ROG Ally X and S with the partnership there with Asus, and then you get the Game Pass stuff and other things. And it's like, is Xbox really making the next console? So rumors started to spread that their next console was going to be a partnership. Maybe it was going to be something like the ROG Ally. So I saw Sarah Bond, I believe it was, came out and basically said, no, we are investing in next-gen hardware. We are producing it ourselves. So I think they kind of put that to rest. But I want to get your thoughts, Ho, because, again, we talked for a while around, okay, Game Pass Ultimate, they're now going to the 3-tier system, very reminiscent, really, in vein of what PlayStation did with their 3-tier system. But Ultimate is now $30 a month, making it obviously the most expensive kind of monthly subscription. And some of what we said last week is, for some people, the value will still be there. I think I'm one of those people, right? And it's not that there's not value there. It's just maybe lessened a bit from where it was in the past. But for other people, clearly, it's not going to be there. And $30 a month in an era now where a lot of people have subscription fatigue already with all the services that we all consume on a monthly basis, is kind of a big ask. So from your perspective, let me just ask, are you an Ultimate Game Pass or Game Pass at all subscriber today? And if so, what does this do for you?
I am. I'm an Ultimate subscriber. My best guess is that Microsoft makes this move because they feel like they have met their kind of proof of concept burdens, especially this year with like Expedition 33 and Blueprints and all the other things that they are grabbing and putting into the Game Pass as a value proposition. I think a lot of the complaints you have online are from the folks that are really subscribing to Game Pass right now on the auspices of that first party lineup, which Xbox has done a lot better with over the last couple of years, but still isn't consistent enough to drive the value of Game Pass alone, right? Like, to me, Game Pass works if you are dipping your toes into indies. The Xbox team is finding seemingly the very best indies across genres. They're really good at curating that particular subscription service. And so I think that's probably part of the conversation here. You also saw some stuff being discussed about the sales loss on things like Call of Duty, trying to be compensated for the subscription price from Game Pass. But outside of all those reasons why I think you can make the business case why this might make sense for Microsoft, this is asinine to the nth degree right now in the end of 2025. Like, we are not in a place as a people in the world, in America, wherever you want to locate yourself for this conversation, to take our highest level luxury goods and say, yes, let's add a 50% increase on that and we're not going to feel it. It's not that economy. It's not that world right now. And games as a whole need to be treated like the luxury goods that they are, right? You will survive as a human being on planet Earth if you can't play your Xbox or your PlayStation. I say that as a contributor to Season Gaming and Last Stand Media and a regular maker of content in the video game and pop culture space. We have to acknowledge that this is the highest end kind of use of our dollars, and it's more important for us to be able to eat and have the lights on and to have shelter in a storm and all those good things, rather than play our Xbox. So I think this is the next page of the conversation that, if it didn't start, it at least grew in volume during the Xbox layoffs this year. And they have 2 rounds of them this year already. They have 2 rounds of price increases of them already. I don't think there's any reason to believe this will stop, but this is part of the story of Microsoft as an entity, in my opinion, losing faith in the gaming project, right? Phil convinces them to buy Activision Blizzard King, and they do. And then they see a new shiny off in the distance with artificial intelligence. And it's clear that Microsoft is all in for that. They don't see the same ROI for gaming. And I believe internally, they're trying to squeeze all the juice they can out of that fruit. And I think they're going to wind up killing it in their own crib. Like, it's a 25-year long crib, but I think that they're going to kill this thing with these kinds of steps. I don't have any faith in their management decisions. I don't have any faith that the entity Microsoft is invested in seeing their gaming bucks succeed. They're going to try to get out what they can from the people that have already joined the Microsoft ecosystem. And I do think that this is basically the best evidence that we have that they don't have the internal faith in this enterprise that they maybe did even only a few years ago. So I look at this and say the people that are calling for the ceiling to be coming in and that Xbox is done, they're probably more right than wrong. It's probably not going to look like all the naysayers say, but it is, in my view, the best evidence we have yet that Microsoft management on the whole doesn't have faith in the project and may not know what they're doing with gaming in the end of 2025 and beyond.
So overwhelmingly positive.
I mean, I'm trying to be as judicious as possible with like my own opinion on these things. I am over Microsoft management. I don't think they know what they're doing. I don't think they have a good plan. And it feels to me like throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks, trying to figure things out on the fly. And I think it sucks for the people that are invested in that ecosystem. I'm not invested in any particular ecosystem to the exclusion of the others. So if I don't turn on my Xbox for another 6 months, I don't really care. I will probably drop Game Pass at these prices, I think, in all likelihood. But I don't know for sure because I do think that their curation is really good. So I do have access to things like Expedition 33 and Blueprints, and as you said, Silksong. So, you know, you get enough hits like that for somebody like me that's trying to play all the things that interest me. It might still make sense, but $30 is a big ask in 2026. It's a big ask.
Gotcha. Yeah, you said a lot there, and I've covered it, so I don't want to be a broken record. I agree to a degree. I guess the simplest way to say it, and this isn't any type of analytical approach, of course, but what I said last week, Hogue, is obviously I think people know I'm very close to Xbox. I've worked with them. I do stuff with them. I've been to their events. I've spoken to some of their leadership. You know what I mean? So I've been in that community for years now. And what I said last week, just to bring it full circle, is it feels like the vibes are off. Post Xbox One and the whole thing we're not going to recap with Phil and bringing Xbox back to the forefront and Microsoft and gaming to the forefront and acquisitions and Game Pass and all these things, it felt like their messaging turned back to where I think it should be, which is the gamers and the players, right? And it, for whatever reason, just vibe-wise, and I said this goes beyond the Game Pass stuff. This goes beyond their price increases. It's just other things going on behind the scenes, too, that I'm involved in. Xbox feels like it's gone back to Microsoft, and it feels we've come full circle, like they're back to managing gaming by spreadsheet, and the corporate hands or, whatever strings are way too deep back in the gaming area. And when that happened with Xbox in the past, and let's be clear, it happened with Microsoft gaming multiple times over the past few decades. They've done this multiple times where Microsoft gets too corporate in the gaming space. It hasn't gone well. And for whatever reason, it just feels like they're circling back to that same mistake again. Now they are gigantic. They're a massive publisher. They are releasing great games. So there are a lot of positives here from an Xbox publishing standpoint, but as Hogue said, there's just things happening from a leadership, from a timing perspective that just don't feel right. And so the simplest way I can say the vibes are off here. I am concerned about where they're going with this. And I guess we're just going to see over the next couple of years what happens. But it doesn't feel good, I guess is the easiest way to say it, of what they're doing. Despite their, great releases. And I'm pumped about Outer Worlds 2. I think it's going to be excellent. Indiana Jones was my favorite game released last year.
I think Indie On, they've been hitting on a good cadence.
they've been doing great. So I don't want to make it sound like the sky's falling, because I'm not one of those people, but it just feels off to a degree. So we'll see what happens. Obviously still support them and still kind of play in that space, but I just want to get your feel on it. And, I don't think what you said is necessarily wrong or surprising at all, because I think a lot of people are feeling that way.
Yeah, and I wish I weren't, right? I mean, like, one of the things that people did come to me on in the last couple weeks is essentially some version of Lena Khan, the former chair of the FTC, was right. Yeah. And that I had carried water for Microsoft, and that I was somehow to blame for what had happened with Game Pass. So
it's all on you.
To cut a long story short, the analysis I did on the purchase of Activision Blizzard King, which Lena Khan did not apparently do since she was laughed out of court when she tried, was that it wasn't a monopoly action. It wasn't something that the law should try to prevent. Whether or not that winds up being a good thing is ancillary to that. And you can make the policy argument that they shouldn't be allowed to purchase something like Activision, and that would require a law. But Lena Khan didn't want to do that. And that winds up being in a different fight about laws and policy and executive branch agencies and things like that we don't need to get into too deeply, except to say that one of the reasons I talk about these things at all on my channel in Virtual Legality and in other places is to try to give you all a better understanding of how the law and business interacts on these questions, and not really to tell you who's going to be a winner or a loser or what have you. At the time of the Activision Blizzard King deal, I said, and I stand by this, that it was a good sign that Microsoft Corporation was interested in investing those billions of dollars into the gaming enterprise. I still think it was. That they decided later on that another shiny thing out in the forest was going to attract their squirrel-like attention does not take away from the fact that it was a good moment for them to invest in gaming. And now that they're investing in AI, it's a bad moment that they're seeing something else outside of gaming, for gamers at least. But that doesn't change anything about the economics of the Activision Blizzard King deal. I don't think that their purchase of ABK leads inexorably to this particular moment in time for the Game Pass price. I think you can have kind of idiotic corporate management intervening with some of these things separate from whether or not they have market control of video gaming such that they can increase the price of their service by 50%. I think those are separate, adjacent questions. But for all of you that did send me direct messages about the FTC or about Virtual Legality or about the ABK deal, I did hear you. If I didn't respond to you, it was because I chose not to, and you wouldn't have liked the nature of my response in any event.
Fair enough. So, yeah, so that's really it. Obviously we're not going to be able to predict exactly what happens. We'll see. It's always ever evolving. But for now, we will, wait for Outer Worlds 2 and what other releases they have coming. I mean, you're right. Game Pass this year or the past year or two, I mean, Game Pass has always been pretty good value, but, before taking on the $30 price now. But they've been hitting the releases. So it's kind of hard to argue with the content, as you called out. So even outside of first party, they had Expedition 33, they had Silksong, they had Blueprints. They've had others, that have gone by the wayside this year. And with this $30 upgrade, they do include now Ubisoft Classics, so that you get some of that category or catalog, of Ubisoft titles, and they are adding Fortnite Crew, which I'm not super familiar with, but apparently that's a $12 a month thing by itself.
Yeah, it's like get kind of new outfits in Fortnite, get a little Battle Pass accelerator thing for Fortnite. But I mean, that's part of the problem, right? When we talk about corporate and pricing and products and services, this is one of the moves that especially giant corporations make because they can sign contracts like they did with Ubisoft and apparently Epic for the Fortnite stuff, which is, all right, we want to make a big price increase. Let's see if we can add value to the service package so that we can make that price increase, and we can do it contractually on our end so that we don't have to pay as much for that value as we'd get because we want the price increase. So here, we're going to package all these things together. We're going to tell you you're getting this extra value, but I personally am not going to get anything out of the Fortnite Crew, and I'm not likely to get much, if anything, out of the Ubisoft Plus or whatever they call theirs. And so it's all kind of illusory. And I think people know that. I think it's one of the reasons the vibes feel bad is, it's just a 50% price increase. And then when they try to add things on the end, yes, you've justified it a little bit, but I'm not going to use those things. So it feels like, yes, you can go buy that video game system on launch from GameStop as long as you buy these 6 other accessories you'd never buy. And that's not really the same as getting value for the amount of money that you're paying.
Yeah, and they also moved the so the point, if I understand correctly, the point system, because they evolved that too, where the points basically stay in their ecosystem now rather than giving you direct discounts on purchasing, which is a little bit different, I believe. But, it's a whole nother way, to your point, where these types of things are structured in a way to kind of add value on paper, but keep the revenue in a certain place. So
yeah, no, they've clearly gone full corporate. Like accounting is behind that page of the difference between the Game Pass tiers. Like you can see it. You don't have to be a conspiracy theorist. You don't have to just be a corporate hater to look at that and say, "Yep, the bean counters are in charge of that. That is what happened."
Yeah. Yep. Agreed. Well, for now, that's it. So we will go ahead and close out on that note. Travis, anything? I know we talked about it last week, but we just talked. Anything you want to add that you didn't last week on that topic?
No, I mean, I think I said everything last week. I don't think it's quite as doom and gloom as a lot of the people are saying, but it is a very stupid move on their part and very tone deaf, I think, in this time. But I think Microsoft is still very invested in the games ecosystem, and I think will continue to do that. I just think that the way that they're investing in it is a little different than some of the other players out there. And like we talked about last week, Ains, it might be in a way that is preemptive, as Microsoft tends to do, and scares people and makes them flee because they think that they're making some big miscalculation, which they often do in fairness. So we'll see how that manifests itself. But I mean, Hogue, I mentioned this last week, but when the rumor of the day was that they were getting out of first party hardware, and my comment to that was sort of like, so what? Like, you know what I mean? Like, does Microsoft need to make these? Is that the worst solution in the world if we have a ecosystem where there's multiple models that run Xbox software? And yeah, I just sort of, the industry changes. That's never made me scared. I don't think it's going to be in the world, but yeah.
I don't think I'd be scared. I think I would feel the same way about the lack of faith in the enterprise. Like, to me, there are mechanisms that you can watch corporations go through where you try to cut your entire infrastructure off to save money, and it winds up ending everything. Like, the best place to sell Game Pass right now is with those boxes under the TV. That's your highest, best use case for your Game Pass service. Even if you move your entire model to Game Pass, you still need to have an avenue where you're going to sell that product. And right now, it's not smart TVs. You haven't made those inroads yet. And you need those Xboxes under TVs. And I know it's a very expensive, very time-consuming, labor-intensive process to get one of those things built and sourced and into people's homes. And so I can imagine a Microsoft corporation that no longer has faith or no longer knows exactly what it wants to do management-wise in the gaming sector saying, well, let's get rid of all those costs and we'll make it up on the back end. Only you can really easily wind up crushing your market for things like Game Pass if you're not smart about how you continue to get it out there. So I think I wouldn't care so much about not having an Xbox to buy, except that I think that it would be the next marker for the notion that Microsoft just really doesn't have what it takes to be invested in this project at all.
I think it just means they don't have the tolerance for hardware, but they've shown that, like, look at Windows. Like, they don't make most of the hardware that runs Windows, and that has been a very successful model for them because it means that they get to focus on the stuff they do well, and then consumers have more options for the box that they're buying. So I don't think the box would disappear. I just think maybe it's not made by Microsoft. Maybe that's not the worst thing in the world. I would like them to continue making it because I think there's like a advantage to there being a default box, and also you guarantee that there's a box in the market in case your partners decide suddenly that they don't want to make one. But I don't think that's going to happen anyway, so this is all theoretical. But last week that was like the big news story that was going to happen, and
which is why Sarah Bond had to come out and debunk it.
Yeah, and I mean, Ains and I both said that we didn't think that was going to happen. That it's
it's not my gut reaction either.
But no, I think they're committed to it. I don't think you invest the resources. I just think that they're a public company. They probably couldn't turn off that effort without a material statement to the public. For sure. I just think there's many indicators that they care about the games industry. There's just a lot of I think people are assuming that they don't care about this market because they're making bad decisions and not pointing at the fact that Microsoft just historically makes very bad decisions, even when they very much care about a market. And so I think those are very separate.
I am far more inclined to chalk it up to ignorance or inability more than malfeasance or trying to destroy anything deliberately. I get the impression that they don't have a strong direction, a strong leader at the helm. And I'm not really directing that solely at Phil. I'm directing that at Microsoft Corporation. When you have that
I think
feeling,
Phil's the middle manager at this point, it seems like.
He is. No, even as the head of gaming, that is in between the big wigs and the people making things for you and I. So yes, I don't know where to put the blame. That's part of the problem with a company the size of Microsoft. But I do view it as another marker for, if you're worried about them, I think it's justified to be worried about them because I don't think they're making good choices right now.
Yeah, that's fair.
Sorry, just typing a comment.
No worries.
Yeah,
good.
Chat says it's also the silence from people we used to hear from, like Phil, Aaron, Sarah, and I was just typing chats to you that that goes to what I said about some of the stuff behind the scenes that I'm not going to say out loud, but things are different. I'm telling you, they are different now than they were even a year and a half, 2 years ago with the Xbox crew. It's just the vibes are off, man. That's how I'm going to end it. The vibes are off. So
yeah, those last round of mass layoffs was really the signal for the powers have shifted internally. There's no question.
100%. Yes. Anyway, good chatting, boys. Hook, good to have you back. Let's go ahead and close out. I'm gonna say just a couple things. So up on the SG side of the house, check out our review of Absolum. We talked about that one. Please check it out. We also have Little Nightmares 3. We have other reviews in progress I can't mention today that we will talk about soon. I think we have a couple previews up as well. A lot. The team at SG's cooking right now, which is awesome because they're just crushing it across many games. So please check that out. Let me hand over to Travis. I know you can't promote the things that are coming, but anything you want to call out this week?
No, I mean, if you care about Euchre Playly, you can see my review there. But yeah, I'm working on stuff I can't talk about, and per usual, the stuff I can't talk about, you already. Thanks, appreciate it.
Well, I mean it. It is well written. Go support our boy Travis. Click on that IGN button.
They are hurting for views.
You know what it is? I just feel weird promoting. I feel weird promoting negative reviews. Right? It's like, hey, go watch me dunk on a game. It's like, all right, well, you don't really need to see it. You know how I feel about it, and if you want more depth to it, I'll give you a 2,000-word explanation of why I think that game is a 5. But
I thought your specifics were good. You also avoided all the puns about the trouser snake character, so I was impressed by that. You had a certain amount of restraint there.
Real restraint. Yeah, you sometimes if a game is negative, the review's negative, you want to go a little bit less jovial with it. But I think this was mostly just that was like on a deadline. I was just like, I'm just gonna get this thing out of there so I can move on to the next thing. But yeah, I don't have a ton to promote because I can't talk about stuff. But I do have some exciting reviews in the pipe, and I'll be able to share them not next week, but the week after. So cool times.
Yep. All right, cool. Hogue, what you got?
I do not have anywheres. Kind of corollary to me skipping the show last week, I've been very, very busy. If you were following me on Twitter/X, you might have seen that I did announce that I am joining a new law firm, actually a legal services platform. And so that has been a stressful process. They are great. I'm super excited about it. But if you've ever started a new job, there's a lot of onboarding. If you're also trying to unwind certain things at your old job at the same time, it takes up all your time. The good news, or maybe the bad news, depending on how you feel about me, is that I negotiated as part of this deal my continued presence on my channel, in my social media, on Season Gaming, on Last Stand Media, everywhere that you can otherwise see me. I'm going to continue to be seen in those places. And that was not nothing when you're talking to law firms. I had a lot of conversations that were like, you're on what? Talking about what? And there's a lot of risk aversion, a lot of people that don't love the notion of having somebody in their employ going out to the internet and not vetting what they're saying through marketing or through the general counsel. And these guys at Mavesey, my new haunts, which I will be announcing more formally in a video at some point in the future to my side of the house, are great about this, want to see me out there. We're absolutely great about having the channel and these various places, so I'm very excited about that. You'll still see me around, and once I get my feet under me, once I'm through onboarding, once I know exactly how to hit the various buttons I need to hit at the new digs, I will be making more video content for y'all. So I'm sorry about being so in the dark on that. I did have a community post about, I don't know, 8 weeks ago at this point that said basically I'm going to be dark, a little bit darker than I have been. So I'm sorry about that. That's the reason why. And so I'm excited about that announcement. It's going really, really well, but it's going to take me another beat or two before I am in a place where I can say, yes, I know I have the time and energy to do it tomorrow because these things have fallen into place. I'm still kind of figuring out what that schedule looks like in real time.
Okay, cool. By the way, we did run a poll on the SG side of the house. The real question: fries in your Frosty, of course, or is that sick? And we ended at an exact tie, 50-50.
Correct.
So,
I don't know what to tell you, people. Put the fries in the Frosty.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna ban half of our audience, is what this is telling me. So,
oh, you're gonna ban 2 people? It's not bad.
Other than that, fantastic week of gaming continues, or months of gaming at this point. So enjoy what you're playing. I will see you on the battlefield, but anyone else, enjoy whatever the heck you're playing, because it's
we got a Pokemon coming out.
We got Pokemon Z to A. Is it Z A? Z to A?
It's just ZA.
From Z to A. Coming out this week,
games.
and Keeper as well. Double Fine's new project releases this week on the 17th, which we will talk about next week.
I was hoping to review that one, but
yeah, I'm just gonna shut my mouth because I'm not sure what's even allowed to be said. So we'll talk next week about that one. But other than that, have a great week, and I'll end the note or end the show with the final note today, just for you, Hogue. Go Chiefs tonight. Thank you
go
very
Lions.
Much.
Are you kidding me?
Have a good week.
Get out of here.
Everyone. Bye now.
go chloroform.